It's thinking. We may or may not be
Hey,
live.
it says we're live.
It says we're live in Zoom. I don't know if it says we're live in Facebook yet. If anyone can confirm, drop a comment, give us a like, that way we'll know. And we're
Hello,
live!
Facebook,
We did it!
maybe.
Alrighty. Hello to Facebook. We are very glad that Facebook and Zoom seem to be communicating now. That took a few extra minutes. But
Yay.
we are here, and today's live topic is
learning how to delegate.
I think that delegation is probably one of the most underrated skills.
Very much so.
Professional life, but also in personal life. Like being able to just say, you know what? I don't have time to cook dinner from scratch. We're going to get a Trader Joe's freezer meal. And that's just how today is going to go.
Yep.
Or at work, being like, you know, I don't need to have my hand in every little thing. You know, I could probably trust some other people to manage some of the minutia. It's not going to be the end of the world if there's a typo in an email, and being able to let that go. So what are some ways that you all have learned to delegate more, delegate better, and make sure it's a great process for everyone involved?
Gosh, I think delegation is pretty hard because I feel like what it is like asking for help almost, because it's so easy to always be like, oh, I got this, like, and just always saying everything that comes up, like, I can handle this. And it's almost hard to step back and say, I can't do all of this. You have to kind of like, humble yourself a little bit and say, cool, I need help. Let's ask somebody, let's ask some teammates, because asking for help is hard, but I feel like just putting yourself in that position and knowing that like delegation is really just asking for help, and how, like, in a work setting or in a real life setting, like, if you're lifting a big heavy couch, you're going to ask someone for help. So same thing in a work setting. If you're on a big project or working on something, like, if it's something hard, you're going to ask for help, and that's okay.
Yeah, and I think that's so powerful too, to be able to do that, because like there are things that I'm sure all of you could do in 5 minutes, have it done, that would take me hours. Like as far as creating graphs in Excel spreadsheets, I don't know why, but that is my kryptonite. I just have not developed that skill set yet. I'm trying. I'm going to take a course on it, but it takes me forever to do that. But meanwhile, John over here is an absolute whiz, and he's like, oh yeah, let's visualize this data, and here's all the points, and here's what it means. And so
absolute boss.
If I'm like, wanting to slam my head into my desk, trying to get a graph to just go the way I want and show the data I want it to show, sure, I could spend 20 minutes trying to figure that out, or I can message John and be like, hey, I could use your superpower over here. That would be awesome. And then he can hop right in and handle it. And it is a humbling experience to have to say, I don't know, especially if you're used to doing it all on your own. But I think it's better for everyone involved, because it's easy to feel like, oh, well, I don't want to burden them. I don't want to add one more thing.
Yes.
That's something I definitely have run into, where I'm like, they already have so much they're doing. I'll just do it. It's fine. But I think it can also be empowering for you to be like, oh, they're recognizing that I have this skill set. They're recognizing that I'm really good at this. Especially when you frame it that way, as saying, I'm delegating this to you because you're awesome. You're super good at this. I know this is somewhere you can excel, as opposed to just being like, do this, please. And coming at it from that place of gratitude and confidence, instead of from a place of frantic, I just need to not be doing this anymore.
Yes. I know. I think my way of learning is, for one thing, it's still an ongoing process, and for two, it was started by force of like sheer necessity.
Yes. Yep.
Sarah's all like, yep. Yeah.
I relate to that so much.
I like literally will run myself until like I'm either ill or on the verge of it. And then like Sarah has to make me slow down and give her some work.
Exactly. I'm like, I can make those dials. We're good. You go take a nap, have your fun.
Yeah.
It's important. And we were just talking about this because I'll be taking a vacation coming up here soon. And I am bad at taking vacations. That is a skill I'm working on. Taking breaks is important. I'm going to practice what I preach. But what are some signs, other than just like abject burnout, I've been staring at this blank Google Doc for 10 minutes, that maybe it's time to start delegating some things?
I think when you start to realize that you're spending a big amount of time on a lot of little tasks that maybe you don't have to be the one doing, and how much time that would free up if you got rid of like these 4 small tasks, but it would give you back like an hour and a half in your day.
Yeah.
Yes.
That can add up really, really quickly, especially if you're, opening up this whole new program and you've got to log in, and it can be a long process, whereas maybe someone else is already in there and could just make that tweak. Because there's going to be things where, like the graph example I mentioned earlier, it's going to take John like 5 minutes. He's on top of it. It would take me so much more time. And being able to notice, which tasks are going to take one person a lot more time than someone else, and being able to delegate based on that. Because I think it's easy to look at it and go, oh, well, it only takes me like 10 minutes to do that. I'll just do it. But if it's going to take someone else 2 minutes and then give you 10 minutes back in your day, that's probably worth it.
And I also would say that, the more you ask for help, the more you say, hey, can you do this for me or whatever, the more likely that that person is also going to ask you for help. So that, it's hard to ask for help because, like what Sarah said earlier, you feel like you're being a burden. But when someone's always asking you for help to do things, then you feel it's okay to say, hey, I've got this problem that I know you're really good at. Can you do this?
Exactly.
Lean on me. You're not strong. But really, like, it is a cultural thing too, like John was saying, where it's encouraging that. And the same way where when you delegate, you're acknowledging someone else's skill set and saying, hey, this is something you're great at. I think it also starts to create that positive feedback loop of encouraging each other and calling out each other's strengths and saying like, hey, Quinn, you just put together this flippin' phenomenal Instagram story quiz that is going to be on our Instagram later today. So definitely check that out. Like, you're so amazing at this. I'm working on this other quiz type thing, and I can't think of another question to ask. Like, be great at that.
Yes.
Help me out with that. And in the same way, she might be able to say, hey, I think I've been working on this caption for way too long, and I keep making edits, and I don't even know if it's getting better anymore. Can you just tell me if this makes sense outside of my own head or not?
Yeah, I have done that a couple of times. Like, I've reread this 11 times. I feel like it makes no sense whatsoever.
And we all, I feel like that's just a stage in the writing process. There needs to be like, there's 5 stages of grief. I think there needs to be like a 5 stages of writing an Instagram caption. And one of them is, I can't even tell if I'm making it better or just making it different.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is relatable right there.
But that is good, of creating that loop where we're all doing that all the time, saying, hey, could you look at this? I, want to make sure it still makes sense outside of my own head. Or, hey, can you think of anything that would just take this from like an 8 to a 9? And it's really awesome to be able to feel that freedom to ask for help, ask for feedback, delegate some things, and make sure everyone's really working on things that are going to make the best use of their strengths and skill sets.
Oh, yes.
Because that's really what delegation is it's about freeing up everyone's time to work on the things that they are best at and that they can really excel at. Trying to think if we've got any other great notes for people as far as delegation. Oh, back to those signs before you reach the point of absolute burnout, that maybe it's time to let some things go. I think Leah had a great point there of just, being able to say, do I need to be the person to do this? Like, is this a Leah only thing, or a Sarah, John, or Quinn only thing? Or is this maybe something we could get some help with? What are maybe other signs that it is time to delegate?
Yeah, and I have been in jobs where like it was literally not an option. So like maybe there could be a future live where we talk about, okay, what if this is the case? What if you are the person? How do you survive until you can get a break? That might be an idea for a future comment. But yeah, the answer is usually yes, you can delegate this and you can take the time that you need, or alternately you can delegate this and move on to, something that you are more productive at. Something that is higher on the priority list.
Yeah, I know a sign for me usually that I need to start delegating is when I'm really tired and I still think about spreadsheets. Like, instead of daydreaming like, oh, I could go on a walk with my dogs, or oh, I should make that like really cool coffee recipe. if I'm thinking, I should make a spreadsheet about that, and it's like 5 a.m. and I'm just sipping my first bit of cold brew, that's usually a pretty good sign that it's time for me to delegate some things and take a few more breaks. So if you can't let go of work in your downtime. What were you gonna say, John?
Well, I was just say, for me, my signs are pretty aligned with that, in the sense of when I start to get tired and like not, I guess for me, it's more like when I don't want to do something that I know I usually like to do. So when there are things that I like doing that I don't want to do anymore, that's when I'm like, hey, that's a sign that there are other things on my plate that are really the source of that, like tiredness and frustration, or maybe any like lack of energy. So that's when I'm like, oh, what else can I delegate so that I can go back to enjoying what I usually enjoy?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
What about you, Quinn? What would you say are maybe some signs that it's time to delegate?
I think it's probably the way I kind of try and do it is paying attention to how many hours I'm working. And if you see they start to really jump up and you're not like, it's for a particular reason, like during a sale week, everyone works a little bit more. But if it's just like, okay, the last 2 weeks I've somehow jumped up to like 4 extra hours a week. Why is that? Making sure that it's not like that's because you just didn't kind of realize that you have all these extra tasks that took more time that you don't have to be doing.
And being able to bring that up, like Leah said, there are going to be some times when you can't delegate something, but that might mean if you're in a workplace where it's safe to do so, maybe bringing up with a boss or a manager, hey, it might be time to like hire some more people, bring some people in, or saying, hey, what can I deprioritize? If there are not enough hours in a day to do everything and do it well, what are maybe some less important things that I could put on hold? But one of the reasons that we even exist as a company is we realize how crucial it is to be able to delegate some things, and not just delegate them, but delegate them to someone that you can be really confident in, and you can know that they are going to do everything just as well as you would, if not even a little bit better, and not have to stress about it, not have to micromanage. So that's why we've created our content plans. That's why we are so intentional about the writers that we hire and work with. And this summer, especially, if you are feeling burnt out and like you just really need to start getting some things off your plate, we want to help you with taking content writing on your plate, which is why we are offering our biggest sale ever. And I'm going to let John talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so right now, for anybody with a new account, you can get 25% off of either on demand or hands off. And so on demand, we take care of all of your writing for you. So you no longer have to worry about freelancers. You no longer have to worry about figuring out who on your team is going to write the blog post today. You don't have to worry about that email, about that text, or asking 4 different people just to get a, kind of a half-hearted article a little bit late. We'll handle all of it for you, so it's no longer a concern. And if you really don't want to have any worries whatsoever with your content, hands off is a package where we essentially do all the work, all the legwork. So we do all the SEO research. We come up with your topics. We come up with your keywords. We request your topics for you. We write your topics for you, and we post them to your website and make them look pretty. So if you just want to essentially set it and forget it, never worry about your content ever again, other than checking it every once in a while to see how well it's doing, hands off is an awesome thing, and it's 25% off this week. Would totally recommend it to anyone looking to just up their content game without having to worry about any work.
It's awesome.
I love that. I always say hands off is like the slow cooker of content. You like just like John said, you fix it, you forget it, and you're gonna have something
come back to something great.
Exactly. Awesome. Is there anything else we want to share with our audience today? Nope. Awesome. Well, if you are interested in taking advantage of that 25% off sale, that is good until midnight this Friday. So definitely check out the description of this video to copy the promo code and head on over to our website to sign up. Have a great rest of your day.
See ya.